Welcome aboard the Tabletop Express. My name is Chris Barrows, and I'm doing something a little bit different today, everybody. Here on Tabletop Express, very often we do our reviews in our live setting or one-offs with at least two of us. Today, I'm doing not actually a review, but more of a kind of first thoughts on a game that has just recently went to Kickstarter. And in this particular case, I am talking about a game called Companion Quest. Now, Companion Quest is designed by Mark McIntyre and published by Ghost Fire Gaming. So I want to talk a little bit about this game. We had a chance to play this. I've now played it 2 or 3 times. We are talking about what is a collaborative game where we are trying to do some collaborative play to catch what is called the Gugu or Gugu. I'm actually going to give you a better look at that really quick here. So if you can see at the top of the screen, and this is not the exact setup, just to be clear, because there's a few things not on the board yet in this visual. But if you look up at the top, you're going to see a purple figure, and that purple figure is the Gugu. And as the gnome, we are trying to catch that dastardly Gugu. To do that, we're going to be playing through and completing these essentially quests. And one of the things about this game is this is a game with dice, companion cards, and a lot of dice mitigation options because of those companion cards. You are looking at the components that were provided to us, which I believe are pretty close to the final version from my understanding. And similar to what the starting board looks like, mind you, the starting board is going to have dice on it, and the gnome and the Gugu are both going to be back one space on the top of that board where you presently see them. So the gnome is going to start on the house and the Gugu is going to be on that initially green space. But as we talk about this game, I want to walk through a few things that makes it interesting to me. So this is a collaborative game. We are working to accomplish the goal of catching the Gugu. And catching the Gugu just means being on the same space as the Gugu. Now, it's important to note when the game starts, you're going to see that section on the right that says starting stuff. Starting stuff, your first player is going to have 2 snacks, your second player is going to have 1 snack, third is going to have 1 snack, and your fourth player would have 1 snack if you do up to a 4-player game. Snacks are important because they allow you to get these companions, and I cannot stress enough how critical these companions are. These companions are the ones that are going to mitigate dice rolls. They're going to allow you to do other things for your teammates, such as help ready up another gnome's companion, because once those companions are used, they are going to be turned to the side. You can also see that the game does come with a very clear turn description and as well as how the snack tokens can be used. So if you look to that piece on the right, that snack token can be used to tame a wild companion, gain a die, or ready a resting companion. So you need those snacks along the way. Now, as we play through this game, you're going to collect a bunch of these companions, and they are going to be crucial. I cannot stress this enough. We played a game where I think I only had 2 companions, and we lost very quickly. We needed to level up and get a bunch of companions in this game. It is called Companion Quest for a reason, but I did want to see just how integral the companions were, and that was a big reason why I tested that. Another thing I want to talk about is on the upper left of a board that you saw in the beginning. You're going to be moving across these boards, and to do that, you are going to also be able to play die. When you can get to the end of a portal, you're going to move your gnome up 1 space because you've made it through an area completely. This is a critical piece because you need to catch the Gugu. To catch the Gugu is challenging because you've got to get through all this. And there's going to be another component that we'll be talking about in a bit, which is the quests. And when and essentially, as you're trying to complete these, I should say the tasks really, but as you're trying to complete those, it's a whole different beast, and that's only just to stop the Gugu from moving. This board is going to be really important because this is how you're going to move your gnome forward, because you are working your way through and traveling through these portals, essentially. You're going to notice also at the top of these, and this is just one example, but we're in the Colossal Croplands, and all dice cost 1 point. Because in the beginning of the game, and I'm going to go back really quick, you're going to notice on the left side of the board, all dice that are on that side cost 1 die. All on the right side cost 2 die. So when I go back to this and you see all dice cost 1 die, the first stage they've intentionally made it with this particular card, though there are 2 versions of this first stage that you essentially get. You are going to be able to get more die, and that's going to be really critical. You are going to need some of those other die along the way, and you're going to see why that cost more on the 2 point side. And again, you only have 3, as we noted to start, because if you go here, you look at the top right, you're going to see you only got 3 action cubes, essentially, 3 action points. So anyways, critical piece going through. It is fairly straightforward when you look at it. My gnome in this particular case has made it a certain distance. I did put him a little bit off to the side so you can see the even token that is there, or I should say the even space where I had to play an even numbered die. And again, working our way through with evens, odd numbered die of certain colors. So again, particular things you have to accomplish. Now, as we move forward and think about this game, the other piece I mentioned was trying to complete these other tasks. So you can see, for example, I have just placed in this particular example on the Raging Rapids, another die down on the last task, and now that task is complete. That task to the left of it, which is the middle task, because there's 3 on the bottom, is not done yet. But before the end of your turn, if you do not complete a task, the Gugu is going to move a space forward. We don't want that. That is bad. So that is something that we are constantly fighting against. And we need to make sure we can catch him. Otherwise, we're going to lose. In this particular case, I've completed 1 by the end of my turn, and that would be a great scenario for me. Now, it is a cooperative game, and we are able to pass our dice on to some extent to our teammates. And so this does make it more possible to get these done turn to turn to turn. When I say this is cooperative, it is cooperative to the T. If you are not cooperative with each other in this game, you are not going to win, and you truly do win together in this game. I found it to be I describe it as a tough experience because every time you're rolling dice, obviously you are pushing your luck right to some extent, and you don't know what you're going to get. So that mitigation that I talked about with those companions earlier is critical, but your teammates are also going to give you some really important abilities as well. And for example, I showed you the 1 card. If you look at your main characters, they have these abilities. So for example, Stibbles can ready another gnome's companion, and those are a really important abilities that you are going to be able to use in the game. And so your player abilities are there. But then when we get to the companions themselves, here's a great example. You've got -3 to a die with a Nom Nom. You've got +3 to a die with a Flitterbell. You've got Claude, who can turn a die to a 6. So again, in these key moments, you have these pieces and you're able to support each other. And if you are not paying attention to your other players' turns, you're going to be in trouble. So again, collaborative play to the T, but it is interactive because you got to be paying attention to that. I didn't find too much downtime in a 2 or 3 player game. 4 player game, I did not have a chance to do. I just want to be really clear about that. I've had a chance to play with 2. I've had a chance to play with 3. So as we go through this game, we are going to be trying to work our way through and ultimately catch up. And again, just a little bit more detail of what these cards look like. The art's really cool. The graphic design overall, I really enjoyed. I believe, and I'm going to have to double check on this. Let me bring this up on my end here. We've got multiple artists in this game. So you've got Rodrigo Camilo Alves de Almeida, Ekaterina Chesalova, Anga Duipana, Paulina Linjama, Dan May, and Kevin Siddhartha. So again, you've got these artists who have put this beautiful work into the game, and all the creatures are very different and unique with their own names. And so again, I take it as trying to immerse yourself in that world of here's these really interesting companions that you can take along the journey with you. But those are the companions themselves. So again, when I talk about this game and I think about who's going to like it, I think the biggest thing is if you do like collaborative games, obviously that's a big one. If you like dice rolling games with dice mitigation, and that's the big thing here. dice mitigation is a critical piece here. So that's one reason why I think I enjoyed this more than some other games where I'm just pushing luck. And I like push your luck games. I love Quacks of Quedlinburg and other games where I am pushing my luck with actions, right? But with dice, to catch up to this Gugu, which is that mischievous creature that you are trying to catch, man, you got to work together. So for me, again, it was a pretty enjoyable experience. Again, this one on Kickstarter right now. You can go, I'll check that out. I will put a link in the description for it. But that's kind of my quick overview of this game, Companion Quest. And if you're interested in learning more, feel free to ask any questions in the comments. At this time, if you're watching, I'd also encourage you, please come check out our channel this month in particular. We've got our top 20 game series going on, and we've got 6 people doing their top 20 lists, and it is always a ton of fun, ending with our community top 20 list. But in this note, please, if you have any questions about Companion Quest, from my experience, please go ahead and let me know. Before I leave you, I do want to share one other thing, which is particularly important to me, about this game, which is the fact that when you go through the game and you do accomplish and catch up and get through to the next space, because there's going to be 3 of those worlds that you're going through, ultimately you're going to reveal a new card. You're going to flip over that card, and you are going to see this, which is going to allow you to move your meeple 1 space. You're going to discard those companions. So you're going to have your all 4 companions on the left side of the board. You're going to get rid of all the companions when you go to a new round in that way. And so that's important, because if you like some of those companions, you better get them before you complete it. Also, everyone's going to gain some stuff, which is great. More snacks, more potential movements, because now you're going up, for example, to 4 points. And so you've got more abilities. And I'm not going to spoil all the different ways the worlds change, how things work, because it does get harder. It's obviously going to be a better game if it gets a little bit harder with each world, but something that you're going to look for. And then hopefully in this game, you have a chance to get to this final stage, which is you win. You caught the Gugu. And so hopefully you have that opportunity to catch the Gugu. If you do back this one, that will be something that you will potentially get to do. But you got to get to the end, got to get through potentially a few worlds, and you got to get those missions done. So that, like I said, is Companion Quest. Questions, leave them in the comments. And I thank you for coming aboard the Tabletop Express. Have a great day, everybody.